Hi, Grammy TAPS here again. I'm so excited to share something with you today because I've had a lot of experience with this past week. But first, I want to ask you if you thought about things that stay the same this past week. Remember we talked about change last time and how some things stay the same? I've thought about that. One of the things I thought about is the moon. Sometimes the moon is really big like a ball, and sometimes it's really small like a crescent, and then it gets really big again. And that stays constant all the time, that cycle. And in the spring, the flowers grow and the leaves come back on the trees. And we have a nest on our porch that's been there for 20 years. And every spring, birds come back to the nest and they add a little bit on it and they lay eggs. And guess what they have? They have baby birds. And dogs have baby dogs and cats have baby kittens, and that's all constant. And so today, though, I want to share with you something else. Last week, when we had our tree taken down, Pap and I cried because we planted that tree and we saw them cut it down. We watched it grow and grow, and now it's gone. And we knew that we would miss it. And that's been a big part of our yard and our home for 27 years. And so we cried. And it's okay to cry. And that's what I want to talk to you today about, is crying. And that's why I'm outside, because there are lots of clouds out and it rained today. Did you know that when it rains, the heavens cry? Have you ever thought about that? And what happens when it rains? Sometimes it cleans out the toxins that are in the air. And toxins are bad things that can make us sick. And it also waters our grass and our trees and our flowers, and it helps them grow. And rain also provides us water. So it has many benefits. And so I want to talk to you today about some of the benefits of crying. Everybody cries. Crying is part of being human. And it's okay. It doesn't mean that we're weak, but it means that we're changing and that we're growing. But also lots of other things. I even made a list of all these benefits that crying does for us that I want to share with you today. So for example, just like the rain cleans out toxins in the air, crying can clean out toxins in our body. Like when the wind's blowing and sometimes our eyes will cry, that cleans out toxins in it. Or before, when I'm making dinner and I'm cutting an onion, and maybe you've seen your mommy or daddy cry when they're cutting an onion, because it helps clean out toxins that get in our eyes from those things. And sometimes we have bacteria in our body that's not good, and crying and the tears can kill the bacteria so that we stay healthy. Something else that crying does is that our eyes need to keep wet, and so crying will help keep our eyes wet, because if our eyes get really dry, then it makes our vision blurry. And so the tears help keep our eyes wet and moist so that we have good vision, so it's clear, so it improves our vision. Wow! Didn't know that. I've learned lots of things this week about crying, and I've had lots of opportunities to cry. One day I was thinking about Jesus, and I was thinking about when he was nailed to the cross and the nails were put in his hands and his feet, and the pain that must have caused him. And I knew that he did that because he loves me and because he loves you. And I cried. I cried with gratitude, tears of gratitude for what Jesus did for me. And sometimes, I cried when your mommy and daddies got married, because I was happy. And when they graduated from high school and from college, I cried because I was proud of them. And those are good tears. And good tears, they can even improve our mood and make us even happier. And sometimes when we're sad and we cry, the crying can make us even happier. For example, one day this week, I was thinking about things that happened in my life from when I was a little girl, and I cried. I cried a lot. And I was wearing mascara, and later on, when I looked in the mirror, I saw these black streaks coming down my cheeks and on my chin, under my chin. And I took a picture of it and put it on Facebook because I laughed. It looked so funny. I kind of looked like a clown. But you know what? I felt much better after I cried, so it improved my mood. And I could just let out some sad feelings and feel better. And something else, sometimes we feel like we're really stressed, like Mommy and Daddy might ask us to do a lot of things, or we think it might be too hard for us to do, or they might even tell us no, we can't do something we want to do, and that causes us to have a lot of stress, and so we just start crying. Sometimes I feel like that sometimes I have so much to do, and I just don't have the time to do it all, and I want to help people, and I don't have the means to help them, and I cry. And you know what? Those tears of crying, they relieve that stress and makes me feel better. You might have experienced that too when you felt like that. Something else that happened this week is when we cry, it rallies support from those who love us. For example, when I posted that picture on Facebook with the black streaks down my cheeks, friends of mine, they wrote back to me and they said, "Terri, are you okay? I saw your picture." And when Pap got home from work, he looked at me and he said, "Terri, you've been crying. Are you okay?" And another friend, when she saw me, she said, "Terri, I saw your post on Facebook." And she put her hand on my arm and she said, "Are you okay?" Now, all of these people were expressing their love for me and their concern for me. And so they were rallying around me to give me love and support. That's something else that crying can do. And that made me appreciate those friends and Pap so much more, because I knew they loved me and they care about me and they want to make sure I'm okay. And so that's something that's a benefit of crying. And there have been times too when I've been hurt, like I've hit my head on the cupboard, or I've dropped something on my foot, or I've fallen down and scraped my knees, and I was really hurt. And that pain just caused me to cry. And I know that you've cried before when you've been hurt. And did you know that crying actually relieves some of our pain? So when we're hurt, we need to cry. And there are sometimes, especially adults, when we think, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to let anybody see me cry because that's a sign of weakness, and I'm not going to let people know that I'm weak, and I won't let them know that I'm hurt. And what it does, it really just hurts us even more because we deny ourselves of all those benefits of crying. So, and I know that there have been times when you've cried and I've been with you and I've picked you up and held you and comforted you and loved you and just let you cry. And you know, there are some times when I cry and Pap holds me and he just lets me cry, and then I feel better. And sometimes Mommy and Daddies need to cry too. So this week, if you need to cry, you let Mommy and Daddy know that you just need to cry and that it will make you feel better. And if you need to be held, and you should just say, Mommy or Daddy, will you please hold me while I cry? Or maybe Mommy and Daddy need to cry. And you can let them know, Mommy, Daddy, it's okay if you cry. And I know if you cry, it will make you feel better. And I'll even give you a hug and hold you while you cry, because that will help you feel better too. You know, something else I've noticed that's a constant that doesn't change is, even though right now the rain clouds are out, when the rain clouds go away and it stops raining, the sun comes up and it makes everything bright and warm. And I know that when I stop crying, that the smile comes back and I feel better. Those things are constant. I want you to know I love you and you add value to my life. I am looking forward to seeing you soon, and holding you. And if you need to cry, or if I need to cry, we can hold and hug each other while we cry, because I know that crying helps us to feel better. Until next time, this is Grammy TAPS, signing off. Bye-bye.